The Millionaire Next Door, Expanded Summary. Part 1, Introduction 1. The book's purpose and origins, published in 1996, The Millionaire Next Door. The surprising secrets of America's wealthy emerged from years of research conducted by Dr. Thomas J. Stanley and Dr. William D. Danko, two marketing professors and researchers who were initially studying the behaviors of affluent Americans for entirely different reasons. Originally, their focus was to understand what types of people purchased high-end products, luxury cars, designer clothing, premium services, so they could inform companies on how to target rich customers. But their findings surprised them and eventually changed the direction of their research entirely. They discovered that the majority of America's millionaires weren't the flashy, high-profile spenders you might expect. They didn't live in Beverly Hills or Manhattan penthouses. They weren't driving Lamborghinis or dropping thousands on Gucci and Rolexes. Instead, most millionaires were living in modest homes, driving practical, often used vehicles, wearing average clothes, avoiding debt, investing and saving religiously, often self-employed in blue-collar industries. This contradiction between expected wealth behavior and real-world wealth behavior became the central theme of the book. They live well below their means. They allocate their time, energy, and money efficiently in ways conducive to building wealth. Stanley and Danko. 2. Defining millionaire and clarifying misconceptions. In the book, a millionaire is defined as someone with a net worth of at least $1 million, not someone who earns $1 million in a year. This distinction is critical because the public often conflates high income with wealth. Net worth equals assets minus liabilities. This means that someone earning $300,000 a year but spending all of it, or worse, spending more than they earn, is not wealthy. They're just living high-risk, high-consumption lives. Two main profiles identified. Stanley and Danko categorized their subjects into two major groups: UAWs, under-accumulators of wealth, high-income earners who fail to build net worth because they spend too much; PAWs, prodigious accumulators of wealth, individuals who consistently save and invest, often having net worths far beyond their peers in similar income brackets. The book repeatedly emphasizes that most millionaires are POWs, not lottery winners or celebrities. In fact, most are people whose neighbors would never guess they are millionaires. 3. The myth of high income equals wealth. One of the book's fundamental truths is that income alone does not equal wealth. This is a major blind spot in popular media portrayals of affluence. You may see professionals like doctors, lawyers, corporate executives, driving luxury cars and living in upscale neighborhoods. But many of them are drowning in debt, paying off student loans, mortgages, and credit card balances, all while trying to keep up with the Joneses. The authors argue that most high-income earners spend to match their income, making them what they call income statement affluent. Their monthly income looks good on paper, but their net worth is paltry because of excessive spending. In contrast, truly wealthy individuals spend significantly less than they earn, invest in appreciating assets, avoid lifestyle inflation, live in homes they can comfortably afford, drive modest vehicles. The difference is not just in income, it's in financial behavior. 4th methodology, how the authors conducted their research. Stanley and Danko didn't rely on anecdotal stories or sensational media reports. Their insights were based on hard data collected over many years. Their research included surveys sent to thousands of households across income levels, in-depth interviews with over 1,000 millionaires, focus groups with professionals and business owners, detailed analysis of asset allocation, spending patterns, and income to net worth ratios. They focused not only on people who earned a lot, but on those who had actually accumulated wealth. This gave their work credibility and weight, especially since their findings were often the opposite of what most financial institutions and marketers expected. The focus was always on behavioral patterns, what millionaires do day in and day out to build and sustain wealth. 5. The 7 common traits of millionaires. Stanley and Danko distilled their research into 7 core characteristics shared by most of the millionaires they studied. 1. They live well below their means. 2. They allocate their time, energy, and money efficiently. 3. They believe that financial independence is more important than displaying high social status. 4. Their parents did not provide economic outpatient care. 5. Their adult children are economically self-sufficient. 6. They are proficient in targeting market opportunities. 7. They chose the right occupation. These traits serve as the backbone for the chapters that follow in the book. Each one is unpacked with evidence, case studies, and actionable advice. 6. Why this book matters, then and now. When The Millionaire Next Door was released, it quickly became a bestseller, largely because it struck a nerve. It challenged assumptions in an era of excess, the late 1990s, just before the dot-com bubble burst and long before the 2008 recession. But its message is even more relevant today. In an age of social media influencers, luxury lifestyle branding, and endless streams of financial advice, the core premise still holds. Wealth is not about what you earn or what you show. It's about what you keep and how you grow it. In fact, the book can be seen as an early critique of consumer culture. It warns of the psychological traps of status-driven spending and provides a blueprint for those who want to break free from financial dependence. Themes that run throughout the book. You'll find several recurring themes that form the bedrock of Stanley and Danko's message. Frugality is not a weakness. It's the foundation of wealth. Self-discipline is more important than income. Most wealthy people don't look rich. Economic independence is more desirable than conspicuous consumption. Helping adult children too much financially is counterproductive. Choosing the right profession, often one that's unglamorous but lucrative, is a critical step. These themes unfold across the chapters through narrative, statistical data, and real-life profiles. Summary of Part 1. The Millionaire Next Door was based on large-scale data-driven research. Most American millionaires are not flashy or high-status individuals. They are disciplined savers and investors. The central insight: wealth comes from behavior, not just income. The authors identified 7 traits common among millionaires, which serve as a framework for the rest of the book. The book is both a financial study and a social commentary, one that remains deeply relevant today. The Millionaire Next Door, expanded summary. Part 2, core concepts. Chapter 1, Meet the Millionaire Next Door 1. The archetype, what a real millionaire looks like. When most people hear the word millionaire, they imagine lavish mansions, exotic sports cars, expensive designer clothing, private schools for children, lavish vacations. But Stanley and Danko's research revealed that the average millionaire is far more low-key. They describe what a typical millionaire actually looks like. Age, usually 50 to 60 years old. Home, lives in a middle to upper middle class neighborhood. Car, drives a domestic vehicle, often a few years old, Toyota, Ford, or Honda. Occupation, often self-employed, small business owner, or specialist in a niche field. Spending, rarely buys luxury goods, wears average clothing, and lives frugally. Wealth, net worth of $1 to $10 million, built over decades. Most importantly, they are financially independent. They don't rely on help from family or social institutions and could retire comfortably at any time. 2. Why you don't see them. The authors highlight a psychological and social paradox. If your neighbor is wealthy, why doesn't he act like it? This is partly because truly wealthy people often go out of their way not to stand out. They understand that showing off money attracts attention from relatives, salespeople, con artists, and government auditors. They prioritize privacy, freedom, and peace of mind over status. In contrast, those who do flash signs of wealth often aren't truly wealthy. They're leasing luxury cars, making minimum mortgage payments on oversized homes, and carrying credit card debt. Big hat, no cattle, a phrase used in the book to describe status seekers who look rich but aren't. 3. The numbers behind the millionaires Stanley and Danko provide hard statistics to describe how millionaires behave. Here are just a few of their findings. Category millionaires versus non-millionaires, average home value less than $400,000, well below income level, vehicle purchase price. often less than $30,000, usually use time spent. Budgeting 2 times more than average Americans, time spent planning investments 3 times more than average Americans, credit card usage, payoff balances, monthly shopping habits. Rarely buy designer brands or retail-priced items. The core message: millionaires think long-term. Every dollar is treated as an investment, either in capital, business, or peace of mind. Fourth, UAW versus POW. Understanding wealth accumulation. A central concept introduced is the classification of Americans based on their accumulation of wealth relative to their income. UAW, under accumulator of wealth, spends a high percentage of their income, often has a high income but low net worth, seeks status through consumption, rarely invests or plans financially. Common among high-income professionals in large cities. POW, prodigious accumulator of wealth. Lives below their means, has a high savings rate, often has a modest income but high net worth, regularly invests, tracks expenses, and sets goals. AW, average accumulator of wealth. This is a middle ground benchmark. The authors provide a formula to estimate where you should be based on your age and income. Expected net worth equals age times annual pre-tax income divided by 10. Example, 45 years old, $100,000 income. Expected net worth, 45 times $100,000, divided by 10 equals $450,000. Someone with more than this is a POW, and someone with less is a UAW. This formula helps people stop comparing themselves based on income alone and focus on how effectively they accumulate wealth. 5. Case studies. What millionaires actually do. The authors support their claims with extensive case studies. Here's a breakdown of 2 common profiles. Mr. Allen, the real millionaire. Age 58. Occupation, owner of a small HVAC company. Annual income $90,000. Net worth $3.1 million. Home, purchased 25 years ago, now fully paid off. Car, drives a 5-year-old Ford pickup. Children paid cash for their college using 529 plans. Habits: O, creates annual and monthly budgets. O, invests 20% of income into index funds. O, never carries credit card debt. O, wears inexpensive watches and buys clothes from outlet stores. Mr. Allen is the kind of person you wouldn't notice at a glance, yet he's financially bulletproof. He is a PAW doctor. North. The UAW, age 46. Occupation, surgeon. Annual income, $450,000. Net worth, $400,000. Home, $1.5 million mortgage in a prestigious neighborhood. Car, BMW, leased every 3 years. Children, enrolled in private schools. Savings for their college is minimal. Habits: O doesn't track spending, has large credit card balances. O spends more than he earns through financing. O frequently upgrades tech and clothing for status. Despite his high income, Dr. North is financially fragile. A single downturn, illness, job loss, recession could destabilize him. He is a UAW. 6. The real source of wealth. Discipline, not luck. The millionaires profiled often come from modest backgrounds. First-generation wealth builders, children of working class or middle-class parents, often educated at public universities or local colleges, built businesses in niche or unglamorous industries. Plumbing, welding, logistics, accounting. The consistent trait among them was financial discipline, saving early and consistently, investing conservatively and regularly, avoiding debt and unnecessary risk, living well below their means. In short, they didn't rely on inheritance, windfalls, or risky speculation. They earned and kept their wealth over time. 7. Why professionals often fail to accumulate wealth. This may be one of the most controversial insights from the book. High-income professionals, like doctors, lawyers, and executives, are often less likely to be wealthy than small business owners. Why? Because of student debt. high lifestyle costs, social expectations, overconfidence in future earnings, lack of financial planning. Many professionals work long hours and earn big salaries, but fall into the trap of lifestyle inflation. As income increases, so do expenses, often faster than savings. In contrast, small business owners often have more control over income by scaling operations, time through delegation, tax strategy via business deductions, long-term wealth by building equity in their businesses. 8. Wealth is invisibility, not visibility. A final note from Chapter 1. The wealthiest people in America are often invisible. You might be standing next to a millionaire in line at the grocery store and never know it. They don't advertise their wealth because they don't need to. This stealth wealth mindset protects them from envy, solicitation, family pressure, lifestyle creep, and it allows them to live peacefully and independently. The true goal of financial success.